Greetings and salutations. This is Imperator Vespasian and his other trusty sidekick.
Yeah, hi.
Today we're going to do a quick video on electro priests, which are part of our Adeptus Mechanicus army, which have worked out quite well in battle, haven't they?
So far so good.
Yeah, they're actually a decent thing to use. So these are an individual box that we got. They're not part of the box set that we bought, so it's not part of that. Should we go through the rules for them first or the history?
History.
History, okay. Electro priests are, in the lore, in the books, electro priests seem to be used as sort of elite troops. Sometimes assassins, sometimes guards. I would assume they're some kind of specialised part of the priesthood. Part of the, not the priesthood, the Adeptus Mechanicus, who are very highly attuned with the sort of technology that they use, which is sort of plasma or electro technology, which is what they're actually using. They carry a plasma pack on their back and cables, and they fire out weapons, and they control it with their minds.
That's pretty cool.
So they're part psyker,
right?
But they're not full psychers.
Right.
I mentioned the black ships in the other video.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to say every year, depends what planet you live on. These big black ships are the Adeptus Mechanicus, huge sarcophagus ships, massive machine, huge craft. And they fly around space and they check on planet to planet to planet. There's a million planets in the Imperium, and they look for psykers.
Right.
And the primary reason they look for psykers is if you have a psyker who is uncontrolled, they could try to use their powers and spawn warp demons. And whole worlds have been lost.
Goodness.
Yes, whole worlds have been lost due to errant psykers.
Yeah, that sounds really bad.
And so what the Empire does, it gets the Mechanicus to go around, pick all these psykers up and take them to Holy Terror.
Right.
And once on Holy Terror, they meet the Emperor.
What is Holy Terror?
Earth.
Ah, okay.
They get taken to the Imperial Palace. Hundreds of thousands of them a day. And the ones who seem to be actually quite good psykers, or potential to be good psykers, they are either they're taken and turned into either an astropathic choir, which is a people who constantly concentrate on the location of Earth and they act as a beacon.
Yeah.
Others are put into the Astra Militarum, the army, and they either become an astropath, which we've used in our games.
Yeah.
The guy with the staff with the eye in it.
Yeah, I've used one of them.
Or they become a astropath choir, which is a combat unit of 3 lesser psykers, but each one has a dice to fight with.
Right.
We'll have to do a video on those because they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, because I used my astropath in the last game.
Yes.
But he died.
Yeah, they tend to die quite easily because they don't have armour and
Got
stuff
killed
like
by a
that.
zombie.
Yeah. It's also one of the reasons they don't have armour. The same reason these guys are electro priests.
Right.
So then you get on to the ones who are absolutely useless, and those psykers, they all have their minds burnt out and their souls eaten by the Emperor to keep them alive.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, these are the good guys though. So yeah, so they suck the souls out of the psykers to keep the Emperor alive. That's the
Oh my goodness, I wouldn't want to go through that.
Now, the black ships on their way to Holy Terror will have some people on board who are probably not brilliant psykers, but they're level psykers that they have slight abilities to control the environment around them.
Yeah.
And they also have the ability to use technology, or at least they can use they have a mind for technology, which means they're the sort of people that Mechanicus would want to recruit.
Yeah.
And so that's who these guys are.
Right.
Now, the ones who are turned into psykers on Holy Terror, they have their eyes burnt out. It's not actually on purpose. Part of making a psyker safe, so you protect them from the warp, so they can use their psychic powers without the warp spawning a warp demon out of their head. Part of a byproduct of that is it tends to burn their eyes out.
Oh goodness.
So psychers use psychic powers to see.
That sounds horrible.
They can't use their eyes. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrific.
Just imagine someone burning your eyes out.
Yeah, it is horrific. It's completely horrific, yeah. So these guys don't have their eyes burnt out because they're never actually taken to terror and they never turn into psychers. So they do have the power to control, but they're not full psychers.
Right.
A byproduct of this is, I should say they use the electro weapons. These electro weapons they're equipped with. A byproduct of using the electro weapons is they quite often hit themselves in the face and they burn their own eyes out. Which means they end up blind whichever way it happens. You can see there's a couple of figures here who have eyes, they're fine.
And then there's the blind ones.
There's 3 blind ones. Because even though they escaped going to terror and having their eyes burnt out by
They managed to do it themselves.
Yes, they did it themselves with... So whatever happens if you're a psycho in the 40k universe, you're stuffed.
Basically, they're just not very smart.
Well, no, they are. They're clever people. They have to be to get into the priesthood. But yeah, they're used as monks. They are monks. They're used as assassins on the battlefield. They can be used in large groups to attack with, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
Because you can have an entire wall of lightning on the battlefield.
That sounds awesome.
Yes, especially against things like Tyranids. Very good against things like Tyranids, but and also because they're not proper psychers, they're not affected by the shadow in the warp, which is a special rule the Tyranid army has, which affects psychers.
Right.
It doesn't bother these guys. Also, some of the demon armies have. I know my Nurgle army has things that minus psychic powers from the enemy.
Yeah.
These aren't affected by it because they're not technically psychics.
Yeah.
But they're effectively using a psychic power.
Why do the Tyranids affect the psychers?
The shadow in the warp. The Tyranids are oh god. Can you wait till the Tyranid video for that?
Sure.
No, Tyranids are one mind.
Right.
They're not individual creatures. It is one hive mind. All the little minds of the Tyranids make up one huge hive mind.
Right.
So what one Tyranid sees, they all see.
Right.
Making them extremely efficient.
Yeah.
Now, Tyranids are not technically psychic, but the presence of all these minds in one place affects the warp, and it causes the shadow in the warp, it calms the warp to the point where the warp can't be used.
Right.
Because psychic powers are in the warp.
So then psychic powers don't work?
Yes.
Right, that makes sense.
So they badly affect psychic powers.
Fair enough.
I also mentioned in the black ships, when you some of the people who go to Terra, they're turned into people who operate ships. Not operate ships. They can act as a like the military astropathic choir. They can be placed on a planet where like 5 or 6 psychers will all sit and think about Earth and therefore be able to communicate with Earth.
Right.
So they use communications things, but that's besides the point. But so if you have a communication choir, they can't communicate because the shadow in the warp will block the communication. And unfortunately, that's how the Imperium communicates.
Right.
So the first thing you know about a Tyranid attack is the world goes quiet.
Yeah.
And if they're very lucky, they might have got a signal out, like, help, Tyranids.
Yeah.
But if not, the world just goes dark.
Right.
And so you have to send an exploratory fleet, a small group of ships, to go and find out if there's anything gone wrong, or did the choir get ill and all had a day off?
Yeah.
Or have they all been eaten by Tyranids?
Right.
So you don't know. So yeah, that's besides the point. That's to do with Tyranids.
Yeah.
So these guys are. I like to think of them as sort of monks, I'm trying to think, like Shaolin monks who use combat and stuff. That's how I like to think of them. And in the books, they're quite scary.
Right.
There's a couple of short stories with them in which are very scary. They're assassins. They're heartless assassins.
Yeah.
But on the battlefield, I should guess they'd be really impressive. Which we found against the zombies.
Right.
We could actually. another couple of turns, we could probably wipe the zombies out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You weren't in that game, but we were actually doing a good job of beating the zombies, weren't you? Yeah. Because again, they're relatively low level targets to fire at.
Yeah.
And there are large numbers of them.
Yeah.
So rule wise, they move 6 inch. Everything moves 6 inches. Even Space Marines. I don't want to get into that. 4 plus weapon skill, 3 plus ballistic skill, which is okay. The weapon skill's not too good. Ballistic skill's better. Strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 attacks.
It's really easy to kill them.
Yeah, they're not the best, but they get a Voltergeist field.
What's
which
that?
I will tell you. Which is a 5 plus invulnerable save.
Right.
And also, when you charge, you roll a 6 for any enemy trooper that you're charging, and you cause an automatic wound to them.
Right.
So
That's pretty impressive.
Yes, because it's actually a psychic field.
Yeah.
They're psychers, but they're not psychers. You know,
Yeah.
they're effective psychers, but they're not actual
Yeah.
psychers. So it's destroying your brain more than anything else.
Yeah.
So the Voltergeist field is like an electro field which surrounds them all the time. So when they charge or they're charged, every single figure that's attacking them, if it gets a 6, dies.
Right.
Because it's destroyed by the field.
Yeah.
It's a bit like a void shield on a Titan. You know, the Titans
Yeah.
we're not going to talk about in this video at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
They also have fanatical devotion. Remember, that's why they're called priests.
Mm-hmm.
Each time they take a wound, they're very much like Khorne in this respect.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
the rules of the Khorne. Each time you take a wound, you ignore it on a 5 plus.
Right.
So it's a bit
That's
like,
pretty cool.
yes, it's disgustingly resilient, basically. Or
Yeah.
Khorne's the one way that you roll to ignore.
Yeah.
And of course, you also have the Canticles of the Omnisire. And we will go into the Canticles of the Omnisire in another video because this video is already 12 minutes and I don't want to make it too long.
Yeah.
But we'll do it in one of the other videos.
Yeah.
So that's a quick overview of the figures. Questions?
Why are they blue?
Okay, right. Because they're Smurfs.
Oh.
Technically, they can be any colour they want to be. Most people paint them blue. The reason for this,
So you could paint them pink.
yes, you could. Because their skin's dyed pink. Because when they're not being used, they're quite dangerous. You can't have them just walking around the ship down to the
Yeah.
refectory, getting out spam of the week or whatever, and going because he might accidentally electrocute all the crew.
Right.
Right. So, and also he can't see where he's going most of the time because he's blind.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good point.
yeah, and you also don't really want them walking around ships in warp because they are latent cell telepaths.
Yeah.
And in the warp, you don't want telepaths in the warp.
No.
No, and you could damage the Q field, the P field. Sorry, I'm trying to think old law, new law. The Geller field. You might damage the Geller field, which is the thing that protects you from the warp. So they're kept for most of the time when they're not being used.
Yep.
They are kept in vats.
Right.
Think, what's that film with Neo in it?
Matrix.
Matrix. Think Matrix.
Yeah.
They're in vats.
Yeah.
They're in these huge tanks, and their skin is dyed by the amniotic fluid that they're sleeping all the time.
Right. So if the amniotic fluid was a different colour, they'd be a different colour.
Yes.
Awesome.
So most
Could
people.
you make them sparkly then?
Yes, you could make them.
That would be awesome.
That's the sort of thing that Cole would do. The Belisarius Cole would do something like that.
That would
Yes,
be
he would
awesome.
make them multicoloured
Like
or
disco balls.
Yes, that is exactly the sort of thing he'd do.
That sounds great.
I mean, Cole is followed by a servitor that follows him everywhere, has done for 10,000 years. The servitor keeps dying, he just makes a new one. And they're all clones of his best friend when he was a kid.
Right.
So he just keeps recloning his best friend, so he's always got his best friend forever.
Oh god.
That's quite disturbing if you think about it.
And a little bit depressing as well.
Yes. And he keeps absent-mindedly calling his servitor doesn't know. He keeps absent-mindedly calling his servitor his original name, Dervish, I think it's called, Dervish, something like that. And the servitor's like, that is not my name. It's because, oh yes, of course it isn't. Yes, because he doesn't want to tell the servitor he's actually a clone.
Yeah.
Right, so I think that's the end of the video. We've gone on for 15 minutes, and that was a lot longer than I was expecting for electro priests. But no more questions?
No.
No? Right. So, yes, you can paint them any colour you want. Yellow, blue, green. But if you paint them yellow, you're going to have to explain to someone who doesn't know what they are why they're yellow.
Yeah.
And people will question a lot, so I did them blue because it seems to be, well, water's blue, sort of in comics.
It looks cool with the red as well.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a nice look.
Yeah.
And also they're based on snow, which makes
makes sense.
blue looks good.
Ice and,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of, and I seem to think I might have been watching something to do with zombies in the snow at the time. Maybe something in a sort of medieval type of world.
Yeah.
With dragons.
Fair enough.
And people. I might have been watching that while I was painting these.
Or maybe you were watching Avatar. You never know. Be blue.
I very much doubt I was watching Avatar.
I doubt it.
Yes, after seeing Avatar once, I'm happy. I'd be happy if I ever lost another part of my brain. I would happily lose the bit with Avatar in it.
Fair enough.
That'd be cool.
The only reason I like it is because the animation's spot on for when it was made, but...
For when it was made, yeah.
But, you know...
Yeah, but I don't think... I think the CGI sort of has stood up a bit, given that it's all the same and so there's nothing to...
Yeah, you can't pick it apart.
Yeah, whereas with Jurassic Park, it really tells now. But yeah, it's well done. So I never thought in a 40k video someone would be talking about Avatar. That's what comes from having a new sidekick.
Yeah, the places my mind goes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Leave any comments in the comment section. Click like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and if you have subscribed, apparently you're supposed to click a bell as well.
Yeah.
That's what people keep telling me.
Yeah, turns the notifications on.
Yeah.
Because sometimes YouTube turns them off for some reason, so you never know when there's a new video.
I would never cast aspersions at YouTube.
No.
No.
I'm not saying it's their fault, it's just, you know, it just happens.
Automated system.
Yeah.
Right, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye.